All right, man. What's up? Welcome to the show. Yeah, man. You just got back from seeing Captain Falcon. Oh shit! So let me go ahead and make sure this is working, and then we'll continue.
Okay.
So I myself haven't seen the movie, so I haven't seen the movie yet. But my boy Iggy just getting back from seeing it, so he gonna give his take. This is a fresh take, so I'm got him on to the show today, and first guest appearance, and it's an honor. So how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me today. I feel blessed to give my take on this movie real quick. We've been talking movies for years and talking about we gonna do something like this, and we here. We here
Definitely,
now.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
So what would you like to know first off? Like, or would you like? Shall I just go for a minute, and then if you have questions or whatnot, how we doing
Yeah, let's do
this?
it like that, man. You go ahead and let me know what you, cause like I said, I haven't watched the show. You know what I mean? So I don't. Last time I seen Falcon was in game. You know what I mean? So what's been going on with him? What's the movie about? What's happening? How'd you like it? How'd you?
Well,
Should we start there? How'd you like it?
I would say that I liked it to out of a 1 to 10. I'm gonna give it about a 6.5 to a 7. Reason being, there were lots of shades, of course, of the Winter Soldier type of vibe to this movie.
Okay,
Winter Soldier is one of my favorite Marvel movies.
that was a good one.
So yes, it was, and so that was very enjoyable. As far as Mackie being the captain, pros. The shield work was pretty clean. He did some things with the shield that I was impressed with actually. And the fighting and stuff for him was pretty good. He's not the same as Steve Rogers, but keep that in mind.
Right.
And the fact that
He's not off the super soldier serum shit. So
right, he didn't take his steroids for the movie.
right.
So he is it is a fact that is frequently addressed throughout the movie. Um,
Okay. So what was the
one
story about?
the story is pretty much, if I had to kind of put it into simple terms, it is a continuation of the Incredible Hulk. For
Oh,
those who are longtime Marvel fans, you need to reference that movie to get a lot of the things that are going on in this film. Um,
I was watching someone and they mentioned that in their video, and it's been a long time since I seen the Hulk, and this person is much younger than we are. And so for them, they probably were little when that movie came out, and so they don't really have too much of a connection with it. Plus, you got old Mark Ruffalo walking around pretending to be the Hulk. So that's who people pretty much connect to the character, but I still go back to Ed Norton because he was the best so far. But I'm that movie. I'm very vague on that movie, so I mean I would have to go back. So you saying that that's part of my homework? So I gotta go back and watch The Incredible Hulk and prepare for this
yes,
one. That'd be the best thing to do.
I would say so because there are not very many references to the other Captain Americas. Nor there was not very many references to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Really, that's
Yes,
funny because
pretty.
for them to go from movie to movie, which was Spider Man, bringing in all those other Spider Mans, and then going to Doctor Strange, where he does this multiverse thing. After just dealing with Spider Man, they connected that movie to the show, having to do
Mhm.
with old girl, WandaVision, right?
Right.
So you had to watch that to prepare for that. And so you're saying in order to prepare for this movie, it's not that you would go back and watch The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You would go all the way back to The Incredible Hulk.
Correct.
Damn.
There were multiple references to that movie, and I don't want to say too much because it would spoil a good portion of it. But I will say this: that movie is a good reference point because you will really familiarize yourself with General Ross, and you will familiarize yourself kind of with how Ross does things. I'll just put it that way.
Okay.
And that was very interesting to me. Another thing about the movie that I will say also that was a pleasant surprise. I'll say that was that, and let me correct myself. There actually was one portion that referred back to the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and that was the inclusion of the original Captain America. Now, if you're a true Marvel head, you will know what I'm talking about. So that's a homework assignment for those listeners out there. But
Okay.
the original Captain America makes his appearance also in this movie as as a very big factor in the movie also.
You know, they kept
Um,
talking about a cameo in this movie, and I kept assuming that it was Steve. But you saying it's going back before Steve. That's what I'm picking up
correct.
on. Okay.
Well, I'll say this because, like I said, I dropped a little bit of a gem there, but let's just say there is an omitted history of Captain America, and if you watch the Winter Soldier and the Falcon, you'll know what I mean. So I'll say this.
Oh, so we got our homework cut out for us then, huh?
Well, this is an extra credit assignment.
Okay.
um, if you want to take the time to watch the Falcon and Winter Soldier, I would say you can, but not it's not entirely necessary. But you can if you want to familiarize yourself with the character that I just described and how the reasoning was
Him becoming
for
Cap.
him becoming Cap. Yes.
Yeah, I was thinking
So
about doing that because I mentioned to you actually that I was going to go back and start checking out the show. I probably still might. Uh, um, I am looking. I'm thinking about going to see the movie. You know, to support Mackie. I like Mackie. Going back and watching Incredible Hulk would be something though. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
13 years. They said it's been 13 years.
Man,
And that tripped me out a little bit because I didn't, when I thought about it, Iron Man and that movie came out at the same time, if you don't remember.
no, I
So,
do. All of them first ones.
so it was kind of good they're paying homage to that. The other sorry, the other pro
To
I
me,
would
those
give
were
about
some of the strongest movies. I mean, I wasn't crazy about Thor and Captain America, the first ones, but I watched Thor a
Mhm.
couple times and it started to appeal. But the Iron Man, that shit was great. You know what I mean? That first Iron Man was immaculate. I
Oh
really
yeah,
like that.
that's a classic.
Yeah,
That's a classic.
yeah. If it
Now
wasn't for
the other pro about this movie I would say also is that it's pretty straightforward. It doesn't really the plot is pretty simple for the most part, and they don't overcomplicate it. I think that kind of the new formula that Marvel is using now is instead of constantly referencing this big boogeyman in the background that's waiting to pounce, they're now making the formula where the movie's semi self-contained. However, they will leave certain breadcrumbs to connect the dots, like their usual formula is. Now, the cons of the movie, I have to say, a bit of the woke agenda creeped into this
mm,
one.
okay.
um,
In what
it
form
was
though? Was it
it was
the
very
political stuff? Was it racial?
it
Was
was
it
it,
like
it
sexual
was it
stuff,
was
like men and women, this
we
and that?
played the race card a bit, and of course the political card because you're dealing with the president in this movie.
Now the
And
president asked what another question I wanted to ask because you know they made him big red man, you know,
yes,
and
yes.
I'm just trying to figure out were they trying to do that? Were they doing that? Were they trying to make him orange instead of red?
Well, keep in mind the Red Hulk was created well before the current
Right, true,
presidency.
yes.
So they're not connected
It
to
was
each
just
other in that
convenient
way.
for him to make it on the screen
He,
right now.
well, there was some convenience aspect to it, but you can tell because the presidential slogan in the movie was "Together." We all got to get together,
Oh,
and
okay. Family.
and that part of the woke agenda came out because you could tell that there was some references to our current president. I won't speak in by name, but we all know who we're talking about.
Oh, you might as well say
Um,
it if everybody know who the president is.
well, okay. Well, you can tell there was some thinly veiled references to Trump and to kind of the type of audience that Trump has has reached out to occasionally.
Oh,
And
like the nigga that Tom Hanks was pretending to be. I got a question.
sure,
How'd you
fire
like
away.
Giancarlo?
So Sidewinder, who's who he was. Sidewinder gave a very good performance, but he didn't appear much in the movie.
Okay.
Um, he made about three appearances, but I will say this: that nigga was bucking, folks.
Yeah, it looked like
him and
that's what he
the
was gonna be doing.
oh yes, him and the gun seemed very comfortable with each other,
Awesome.
and he was doing some dirty work. He
So
he was
so
he was
Marvel's
he
getting
was doing what he's doing.
comfortable with the gunplay, huh?
Well, he was basically trying to kill the shit out of Captain America. Let's put it
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But
It looked like he was gonna be. So
the
that was
wokeness
somebody else I wanted to support in the movie. You know.
the wokeness part with the racial card was very evident also because one of the implications, of course, about a black man being Captain America was kind of brought up again in the movie. Um, but to Marvel's credit, they did they did basically show that the majority of America had pretty much accepted him as the new Captain America. There was not much there was not much controversy anymore. They respected the hell out of him.
Yeah, I'm
And
over here watching Justified, and I guess the only people who hadn't been able to accept him was a couple of niggas off of this show.
something like that.
Yeah,
And
probably.
even Ross had some issues with him. But those are well documented throughout the Avengers series and
Well, of course
you
he
know,
would. Of course.
yeah,
Of course they would have made it
so
that way.
but it really came to the forefront in this movie. Um
How'd you like the Hulk?
now so the big piece that everybody in America has watched. The fight with the Hulk to me seemed like suicide.
Yeah, I don't think vibranium was gonna be enough to save his ass.
Yeah, vibranium helped a lot,
I'm sure it did.
but but in the grand scheme of things, yeah, I felt like this was a little bit of caca being fed to me that about that fight.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I felt that.
Yeah, because
I
I
felt
seen that
like,
commercial and Hulk was pounding on that fool,
oh
and
yes, he
I was like,
was.
nah, he ain't getting up from that shit.
No,
I seen Superman go through this shit, and it wasn't
and
good.
the thing about it is that that nigga was mad as fuck when he
Yeah,
changed. So the strength level should have been off the charts, and that
right,
shield would have been broken in half.
right,
and
right.
so, and you equal in the fact that you're dealing with a normal man.
Yeah,
So
no super soldier serum, none of that shit. Just a fucking shield and some vibranium and some
yeah,
goggles.
and some martial arts moves.
Nah, that ain't
Yeah,
gonna
I
get it.
mean, yeah, I felt
You
like
gonna get your ass whooped.
this was how I felt when
That's when the
the
cartoon
Flash.
kicked in, huh?
Well, no, when the Flash fought the Kryptonians, it was similar to
Oh,
that
get
plot
that bullshit
really.
out of here. Yeah.
Where if it really happened, would the speedsters really have a chance? Fuck no.
No. No.
Um,
You see the way Superman looked at that
however,
fool?
the best scene of the movie to me actually is when they go back to revisit the Celestial, and
Okay.
that
Now,
that was
okay.
that was significant.
How much of that takes up the movie? How much of that is
at least a good 25 minutes or
Oh,
so. Yeah, it was a pretty major scene.
okay.
Um, Now the one thing that did surprise me, which I was slightly expecting, I was expecting more newer cameos, if you know what I mean, for the new people they're going to be introducing to the MCU.
What you mean, like
Um,
some X-Men or like some Fantastic Four characters or what?
well, if Wolverine had showed up, I would not been surprised.
Did they
Instead,
did they hint at those things?
the only thing they really brought up was the Antimantium. Other
Mm.
than that, no other references to any other of the other films as of yet.
Now, I
Um,
do remember seeing that I think in one of the promos or something that they found antimantium, and this is a new thing. But
yes.
so if this is a new thing in this universe, then I'm trying to figure out how are they gonna bring the X-Men in and then explain Wolverine being from so long ago. I mean, maybe they're just discovering it. Maybe it was already discovered by someone else, but that's interesting that they will try to make it a new discovery for them, for the characters in the movie. So it's interesting to I guess we're just gonna sit and wait and find out how that all plays out and comes together.
Overall, though, it's a good watch. It's a decent. It's an entertaining movie.
So like
Like I
between
said,
1 and 10, where would you place it?
6.5 to 7.
Okay.
Entertaining movie. Entertaining movie.
How was the acting?
I wouldn't necessarily say you should be going and spending $5 million at the theater,
Right. Not
but
even a matinee?
is a matinee. Yes, this is worth a matinee
Or
watch.
like one of them days, depending on where you live, where they do the special for like $7 or whatever.
Hey, I paid 5 today.
See, yeah, y'all niggas are spoiled out there. Okay, so five,
So
seven, whatever.
yeah, I got 5 on it. And that 5 I felt was well spent. I didn't feel cheated at all. I actually surprisingly was not bored by the movie at all too. It was
It
actually
didn't feel too
fairly
long or
entertaining.
anything.
It was just right. The movie runs, I want to say, about an hour and 45 minutes or so.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
pretty. It's a short movie. Um,
So about an hour 45, 6.5 to 7. That's all right.
I'm really excited to see, but this movie I'll say makes me more excited to see the Thunderbolts because there was a bit of a tease heading in that direction.
Mm. Yeah,
You know,
that's what all the movies do. You know, I mean, you walk out the theaters and you can't even talk about the movie you just saw because you can't wait to see the shit that they told you about coming next. But we are getting through this one pretty well, and that's very nice. That yeah, this is all good stuff. I think I could support a movie. Because it's got three strong actors in it. I don't know how the performance is, but Giancarlo, Harrison Ford, Mackie, they're all good. You know what I mean? And so those are three reasons for me to be like, yeah, I'd check it out. You know, so from what you're saying, sounds like it's a like a fair watch, like just nothing special, but it's not horrible.
like I said, I would kind of put it on the level almost of like the Winter Soldier, maybe a notch below. Um,
A notch
as
below the
far as
Winter
Mac,
Soldier.
the last thing I want to address is Mackie being Captain America. That was the other thing I had to kind of wrap my
Oh yeah,
mind
we
around.
yeah we talked about that. Yeah,
The acting aspect, I think he did a great job. Um,
he usually
Mackie is
does.
a hell of an actor. He's
Yeah,
been in several movies,
yeah,
so
he
his
usually
acting
does.
chops I won't dispute. The action part what surprised me a little because again he did some things in the movie I was like, okay, that's kind of tight. You know what I'm saying? But it was different from Steve, obviously.
Okay.
And the other woke part I will say is that his partner, he had a partner in this one, as usually most Captain American
Oh,
movies
another
do.
Falcon, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And this is where I thought the woke agenda was slightly included also because um I don't know if I should say this because we're recording here. Um
Yeah, if you don't want to give away
But
no spoilers, don't. You know.
I don't well no spoilers. I'll just say again, and I know they did this in the comics also, so that's why I'm not that upset about it. But I felt like I said, it's just I guess representation matters these days,
Hmm.
and
Okay.
so
So
that
between those two, that aspect was kind of prevalent in some
very,
ways.
yes, very much so.
Okay. Is that where it mostly played out at in the movie?
No, no,
Okay.
they did to their credit. They tried not to focus too much on it. But if you're an astute movie watcher, not only that, if you see the messages within the messages, sometimes
Yeah.
you can recognize the stink of wokeness.
Yeah, yeah, you usually can. It's hella funky. So, uh, man. So yeah, that sounds pretty good, man. I think I will probably check the movie out. Then I had to give my own take on it. But I'm glad to have you on today, man. You know, we coming up on a pretty,
Thank you for having me.
yeah,
One
definitely,
quick
man.
one quick thing I want to ask you, but we'll talk about this offline. I did the previews. I did finally see the preview for Minecraft, and I want to rap with you
Oh, they
about
have a
that
trailer for it.
offline.
Okay.
Yes, they do, and I saw it today, and we'll talk about that.
Oh, okay. Well, that ain't got shit to do with Captain America. So, hey, whatever. You know, we sticking with Cap right now. But
Right,
yeah,
right,
man, we'll
right.
talk about. I'm gonna have to check that trailer out. But yeah, man, I'm glad to have you on and you know tell my listeners what you thought of the movie. I'll be happy to give them my thoughts when I check out the movie for myself. But yeah, everybody, this is Iggy. He's just sharing his two bits about the movie and I hope you liked it. Just stick around. Got more coming for you. Is there anything that you wanted to say? Heading out. Closing out the review.
Well, like I said, welcome to 2025. So far the movies have been not too disappointing. Hopefully we have a great movie year this year, where going back to the theaters becomes an event again for families and people, and people's money. They feel like their money is being well spent on this form of entertainment.
Okay, and I do think going back to the theaters might be on the roster, man, because horror's kicking ass right now. I don't know about all the families and shit going to that, but I'm gonna try to go. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this review up for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and you'll hear me again on the next one.
Later in the show, some friends will be stopping by.
And we'll give you our Oscar predictions.
I can do that right now. I predict boredom.